What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel, Joy Speaks, a channel that I created to provide a voice for the recovery community. And when I say recovery community, I'm referring to people who are struggling with substance abuse, alcohol, mental health issues, and their loved ones. Because as we know, it's not just the addict or the alcoholic who's affected, but also the community that surrounds them. You guys, it's been a minute since I posted a video. I just want to update you guys and just let you know what's been going on in my life as of lately. I almost just said, forget it on this whole YouTube thing. But what I realized is that I was putting a lot of my attention and my focus on subscriptions and engagement, and I was losing track on what the intention was behind my channel, and that is just to connect, particularly about topics surrounding recovery, and just give you guys an insight on my life. So I am not going to give up. I have taken some time to kind of focus on myself. Some major life decisions have been made since the last time I posted a video. I'm not going to divulge everything in this video, but once these new ventures start to kind of come into fruition, I will be happy to share the journey with you. But yeah, I am definitely still sober. I've got 1,389 days today. So yeah, this August I'll have 4 years, God willing. I'm still working my program, still sponsoring people. I just started another round of the 12-step process. I have worked the 12 steps in their entirety, and now I am starting over again. And that is not because the 12 steps don't work. So for those of you who have no idea about like 12-step programs, it's not, the idea is not that you work the 12 steps and then you graduate and that you're cured. If you have the disease of alcoholism or addiction, like I do, then you have full awareness that you are going to be in recovery for the rest of your life. I'm going to be in recovery for the rest of my life. And so what that means is that I will continue to work the 12 steps. Now, the focus on this round of steps is a lot different than my first round of steps. You know, my first round of steps were really just focusing on how to stop using and abusing. And now that I have, gotten a lot of freedom, and I've had, a lot of spiritual shifts and awakenings and enlightenment through the 12-step process. But there's still more work to be done, and so I'm starting this round of steps with a little bit more focus on some of my character defects that have kind of been present throughout my life, and then super present throughout my active addiction, and then still present in recovery. Just because you get clean and sober does not mean that you become an angel. It does not mean that you become a perfect person. It just means that I am no longer self-sabotaging and poisoning myself. So with that being said, I am approaching this round of steps with a lot of hope, with a lot of excitement, just because I know that the 12-step process works. And I have a lot of faith in the 12-step process. So yeah, that's that. You know what? I wasn't going to talk about this, but I think I am, just because I just want to be able to be very organic in this space and not be so regimented. So like I said, I am working another round of steps, and a character defect is like a character flaw, right? It's something about your personality or my personality that brings you harm, that may bring harm to others. But we identify character defects through the 12-step process with the intention and with the hope of being relieved of that character defect, meaning that character defect or that character flaw can be removed. And I have a lot of character defects. I am far from perfect. And one of my character defects is participating in gossip. And I have been the victim of gossip long before recovery. During my active addiction, I've also been a victim of gossip through my recovery process. And I don't like the way it feels to be talked about. particularly when what's being said is untrue. I have shared in a previous video about, a situation that I was in where somebody made some accusations against me that I didn't appreciate. And, and I was valid to feel how I felt. However, the hypocrisy is that as, uncomfortable and as, disappointing as it was to be a victim of gossip, I still turned around and participated in gossip and really hurt someone. Actually hurt a couple of people. Uh, so what, and I want to give you guys a little bit of context. When I was repeating what I was repeating it in a space that I thought was safe. I was repeating it to someone who I thought would not go and repeat what I had said, right? Not to say that the gossiping is their fault, because the reality is that if I hadn't said what I had said, then that person wouldn't have anything to run and talk about. So I take full accountability that I opened up my mouth and talked about someone. And, it doesn't make it right at all. But I will say that, like, me talking about someone else's situation wasn't with the intention of harming them. It was more so in the context of, is like, someone asked me about this person, and so I had told them what I had heard most recently about that person. Now, that being said, like I said, I hurt two people. I hurt the person that I was talking about, and then I also, betrayed the trust of the person that gave me this information. Because that information was given to me in confidence. So for me to run and share some information that was shared with me in confidence to someone else, hoping that they would keep it a secret, is hypocritical. And it really, really, really sucks to make mistakes in sobriety. When I am in my active addiction and I'm using and abusing, it's very easy for me to just say, hey, I was under the influence, like, so what? But when I don't have using and abusing as an excuse, and with a clear and sober mind participate in, anything that is unhealthy, it really, 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 it's disappointing, and then so what I had to do was I had to call the person that I was gossiping about and let them know that I said what I said, and I was hoping that that person would be receptive and be forgiving and be gracious, because I have had to be forgiving and accepting and gracious for that person. However, I can't decide for anyone how to respond to unhealthy behavior. So that person was very upset, and that person gave me a piece of their mind, and it really, really cut deep. It cut deep because this is somebody that I have, I have a love for. This is somebody that has supported me through a lot of my process, and I've been able to show up for them through their process. And I had to make amends and take accountability, and it really, really, really hurt. And then I also had to go and call the person, who told me the information, and share with them that I had betrayed their trust. So there was these moments of accountability that I had to take that were very, very, very painful. And this is not to say like I'm a victim, because I'm not a victim. Like, I was a willing participant. However, my feelings are valid, and it hurt. It hurt. And I was just more disappointed in myself than anything else, because I know better. I know how it feels to be talked about. I know how it feels when people are, spreading rumors about you. And I never want to play a part in making someone else feel the way that I've been made to feel before. But at the same time, I am not perfect. That night that I had to make those phone calls, I wanted to sacrifice my sobriety. I wanted to just throw in the towel and just say, well, obviously this recovery thing isn't working for me, and go back to old behaviors. But thankfully, I have some tools in my tool belt that I can pull out to navigate those feelings and those thoughts. Thankfully, I have people that sincerely will love me no matter what. Even if I'm calling them and saying I've been, an asshole today, or I did something I'm embarrassed of and I'm disappointed in myself, they don't judge me for it. They instead show me grace and show me compassion, because that's not something that I know how to do for myself just yet. This is something that I'm working on, and this is something that I'm looking forward to getting some relief in through working another round of steps. But my idea of living and experiencing a perfect program of sobriety is unrealistic, and it's frankly it's impossible. And I am someone who likes to learn, I am someone who likes to grow, I am someone who likes to evolve, and I know that evolution takes discomfort. And these are some of those lessons that I have to learn, but I'm grateful to learn them now, and I'm grateful that I have the clarity that I have, because when I take accountability, I can also change the behavior. Right? I'm no longer pointing the finger and pointing the blame at this person and that person, because if it's all their fault, then I have to wait for them to change. But if I take ownership and take accountability and say that it's my fault, then I have the power to make that change. So I'm grateful for that. And so it took me some days. It took me some days to get out of my funk. I felt embarrassed. I felt disappointed. I felt ashamed. I felt like isolating. I felt like running away. I felt like not connecting anymore. I also felt angry. I felt angry that the person I told ran and told somebody else. But like I said, it's not their fault, because they would have never had anything to run and tell had I not opened my mouth. And so what I know now is that I need to be mindful around where I am and how I'm navigating and how I'm communicating. And there are people in my life that I can trust wholeheartedly with any information. I don't know if I've been forgiven by those people. Well, one of them, the person who gave me the information, I know has forgiven me, because they've been very compassionate and very graceful ever since, and are still communicating with me. The person that I was talking about, not so much. But all I can do is clean up my side of the street, and that's what I did. And if it's in God's will, we will reconnect. And if it's not, then we won't. And this is when I practice acceptance. I practice acceptance over the fact that I am not perfect. I practice acceptance over the fact that people are going to respond the way they're going to respond, and they will forgive at their own pace. And it's not my job or duty or business to try to control that. I have to detach myself from those outcomes and just be present and in the moment. And so today I feel a lot better. I have also just celebrated a birthday, a natal birthday. I ain't gonna say my age. I'm gonna let y'all guess. But yeah, I celebrated a birthday, and birthdays are tricky. Birthdays are very, very tricky in sobriety. I have a lot of memory. Birthdays are tricky in sobriety because for most of my birthdays before sobriety, I was partying hard, super, super, super hard. I mean, these were 3, 4, 5 day parties, nonstop. And a lot of that unmanageability, now when I think back, it still seems a little intriguing. I'm not gonna lie. Like the idea of just checking all the way out to celebrate a milestone still sounds a little interesting. That's me being honest. Now, does that mean that I'm gonna allow that thought to like morph into fantasy and then me like actually following through? No, no. What I do know is that there are consequences that come with my actions, and there are major consequences that would come if I decide to check out and self-medicate in order to celebrate. And so the question I always ask myself is, are you willing to deal with the consequences? And the answer is no, thankfully. But nonetheless, we get the opportunity to reframe what celebration looks like. And so I got to, on my day off from my day job, I got to go out to dinner with my family. And I got to see my precious little niece and my wonderful sister and my incredible mother and their loved ones, and my cousin and his girlfriend, and we fellowshipped and we talked and we laughed and we ate, and we got to just be connected, be present, be engaged, and be in the moment. And it was great. It was great. The the irony of having triggering memories about my birthday in the past is that I never got to have those moments where I was just present and engaged and in the moment. I was always, numb and, using into oblivion. But there's still some intrigue about that unmanageability, And so what I know about my program is that I have to be honest about my thoughts and my feelings, no matter how crazy they are. And what I do know is that I'm not the only person in sobriety and in recovery who has had thoughts of, or just wonder or curiosity about the old life, you know. But the beautiful part about celebrating today, the way I choose to celebrate, is that I go home and I get some rest, and then I'm ready to go about my business the following day, as opposed to, a 2, 3, 4, 5 day binge. And then by the end of that binge, I'm gonna use this term very loosely, and I'm gonna say looking crazy. But if you know, you know. And if you ever partied with me around my birthday, you know the kind of crazy I'm talking about. And honestly, I don't miss that. I do not miss that. I don't miss those come downs. I don't miss the hangover. I don't miss the, can't get out of bed for I don't miss any of that. So yeah, celebrated a birthday. I'm making a major life change next year. Major life change. And the only reason why I'm not going to talk about it today is just because I am protecting that and I am praying over that. And when the time comes, I will share more. But what I will share is that when you choose to, walk in the light of sobriety, you have these opportunities to have some really big dreams. And the difference between the dreams that I have today and the dreams that I had before I got sober was that today my dreams get to come into fruition. And in my active addiction, I would just daydream, but I would put no action behind any of those dreams. So I'm excited. I'm excited because I have a plan. I'm excited because I can see with almost a 100% clarity how to execute this plan. And I know it will change not just my life, but other people's lives too. Which is what I thrive off of today, is using my pain and giving it some purpose and to inspire hope and inspire change. In a few days, I'll have 6 months clean from nicotine addiction. I'll do a separate video on that. But I just wanted to come on here and just give you guys an update on what's been going on lately. Life has been lifing. Life is still amazing. I'm making mistakes, as human beings do. But the difference is today is that I'm not running from my mistakes and I'm not pointing the finger. I'm taking accountability. I'm feeling whatever I need to feel. I'm trying to make amends if possible. And then I'm allowing myself to experience some grace and forgive myself and move forward. And that's also something that's new for me. I'm used to punishing myself. I'm used to ruminating in disappointment and shame. I'm not used to forgiving myself. But that's one of the things that I'm learning how to do one day at a time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I miss you guys. I miss YouTube. Oh, I didn't say in the beginning, please hit like, hit share, and hit subscribe. Hitting subscribe will cost you absolutely nothing. All that will happen is you will have access to everything I have going on with my channel. And if you hit the notifications button, you'll be notified every single time I put out some fresh content. So I'm not gonna, gas your heads up and say, oh, I'm gonna put a video out every week or every. I'm gonna do this as my spirit moves me to. And if I have to take a couple weeks to focus on myself, that's what I'm gonna do. Which is part of the freedom in this platform is I get to share at my own pace. But you guys will definitely get more content coming soon. I just want to say thank you to everybody who have subscribed and who have left comments and who have seen me in person and just given me encouraging words or just let me know that you've identified with some of the things that I've shared. But anyway, I love you guys and I'll see you on the next one.